This is a sports catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather Ho, there's Jeff Cutastrophe. Welcome you to another sports catastrophe on this date. And on this day, August the 1st, in the year 2012, the Summer Olympics were rocked by scandal. But not from a sport you think would have scandal. Yes, these are four women's doubles badminton teams. And what they did was wrong, not because they doped or did something controversial with social media. It's because they were trying to tank for better positioning. All that. So, 14 nations brought 16 teams to the women's doubles tournament. Eight eight players, aka four teams, were ejected from the tournament by the Badminton World Federation after being found guilty of not using their best efforts and conducting oneself in a manner that was abusive or detrimental to the sport. Playing to lose matches in order to manipulate the draw for the knockout stage. In one match, both teams made a series of basic errors. In one match, the maximum rally was 4 shots. So there were 4 groups, 16 teams. All that. So anyway, the first group had the Canadian pairing of Alexandra Bruce and Michelle Lee. Unfortunately for them, they got knocked out flat. The Chinese pair of Wang Liu and Yu Yang crushed them 2-0. And then they lost to the Korean pair of Jung Kyun-eun and Kim Ha-na. And that is real. You could look it up on Wiki. Of the 2012 Summer Olympics women's badminton doubles. That's the name to win the game. And then, unfortunately for the Canadians, they got swept by the Russian pair of Sorokina and Bizlova. So that looked pretty bad for the Canadians. Unfortunately for Korea and China, for some strange reason, they decided to manipulate their final match. The Koreans won that match 2-0. So Korea would be the top team, China would be the second best team, and no Russian or Canadian pair. Well, that's wrong. Anyway, Group B saw no cheating. So the Taipei group of a pairing of Chang Wan-sheng and Qian Yu-chin, and Japan's Misuki Fuji and Reika Kakiwa qualified. I feel bad for the Indian pair of Guta and Punapa because they were also 2-1, but because they didn't win that many sets, they got the boot. Group C also saw controversy from the other Korean pair of Ha Jin-eun and Kim Min-jun. Indonesia had been good at badminton. They had the pair of Milena Johari and Gracia Poli. The Korean pair easily went through. No doubt about it. Australia and South Africa were there, and Australia did beat the South African pair. Well, the Chu Furen pair of Australia beat the Edwards Fujian group from South Africa, but little did they know that because of Korea and Indonesia being stupid with manipulating the draw, they were going to get into the quarterfinals. Group D saw no controversy as the Danish pair of Christina Pedersen and Camilla Ryder Julu and Tian King and Zhao Yu Li of China qualified. Japan had Miyuki Maeda and Satoko Sutsuma compete, but they didn't win as many sets in their matches. Hong Kong also went down. So here's how things happened. Well, on August the 1st, a review into 2 matches in the badminton women's doubles competition was conducted. It appeared that after having already qualified for the knockout stages, players on both sides in each game were trying to tank to gain a more favorable draw in the quarterfinals. It's one thing that you're going to the quarterfinals and you're just playing laissez-faire, but they were playing laissez-faire too much. The Chinese match of Wang and Yang versus South Korea's Jun and Ha Na, and the other South Korean pair of Jun Yin and Min Jun versus Indonesia's Johari Poli were in question. After errors began occurring during routine shots of both matches, including shots going long and serves hitting the net, the crowd reacted angrily. And the first game in the match between China and Korea featured no rallies of no more than 4 shots. A Korean coach claims to have emulated China so as to avoid playing against another Korean team in the knockout stages before the final. And the South Korean coach said, because they don't want to play the semifinal against each other, so we did the same. We don't want to play the South Korean team again. And then the second game between South Korea and Indonesia, the referee issued a black card to disqualify the players. But after the team's coaches and officials ran onto the court, it was rescinded. The referee monitored the proceedings. All that. After review, all 8 players were found guilty of not using the red adverts. So the ejected teams were replaced by the other teams in their groups. And it was debated because some argued that while the teams have not been performing their best effort to win the game in hand, they were doing their best to win the tournament. And that conserving resources in early matches is a common practice in every sport, which is true. That said, to prevent any repeat of these events, the competition format for the next Olympics was changed. All pairs finishing second in the groups would be placed into another draw to determine who they face in the quarterfinals, where the top pair would have a fixed position on their designated seed. So basically, it would be worth it to win. So both Korean pairs, one Chinese pair, and the Indonesian pair were gone. Australia, South Africa, Russia, and yes, even Canada got through to the quarterfinals. And all that. In the quarterfinals, the Russian pair crushed the South Africans 21-9, 21-7. You had to win 21 points in each set. While the Chinese pair of King and Zhao, the only Chinese pair left, beat the Taipei pair 21-10, 21-14. The Chinese pair of Tian and Zhao won their semifinal 21-19, 21-6 to go to the final. In the final, and Canada's Alex Bruce and Michelle Lee shocked everyone. Well, they beat the Australian pair 2-1. Now, of course, like the Russia-South Africa match, the Canada-Australia match was of teams that actually were not supposed to be in the quarterfinals, but were in because of the tanking by those other teams. So they got to the semifinals. They would face the Japanese pair of Fuji and Kakiowa, who beat the Danish pair. Canada won a set of Fuji and Raika, but unfortunately for Bruce and Lee, they lost. They would play for bronze, but get crushed by the Russian pair. Russia getting a bronze in badminton? Oy. Should have been Canada. Oh well. The Chinese pair of Tian and Zhao actually won for their countrywomen who were kicked out of the tournament, winning 21-10 and 25-23 against Japan. So China did win a gold medal after all. And it makes me happy. Korea must have been pissed off. And I don't blame them. But, you got to give it your best and all that. I mean, badminton knew that they had to have more incentive for first place. And I like that move. I really do. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.